Hello friends and students, today's poem is called Anyone Lived in a Pretty How Town by E. Cummings. Cummings was born in the 1890s, 1894, and died in 1962. So he lived through a lot of turbulent times with world wars, economic ups and downs, and various things that made the modernist poets a little bit rebellious or jaded and cynical. So he's very experimental, also consistent with modernism, but he might be one of the most creative of them all. So he did a really cool thing in how he presented his poems, and he's quite brilliant with wordplay and whimsy while offering social commentary at the same time. So here's our poem called Anyone Lived in a Pretty How Town. Anyone lived in a pretty how town with up so floating many bells down. Spring, summer, autumn, winter, he sang as didn't, he danced as did. Women and men, both little and small, cared for anyone not at all. They sowed their isn't, they reaped their same. Sun, moon, stars, rain. Children guessed, but only a few. And down they forgot, as up they grew, autumn, winter, spring, summer, that no one loved him more by more. Wind by now and tree by leaf, she laughed his joy, she cried his grief. Bird by snow and stir by steel, anyone's any was all to her. Someone's married their everyone's, laughed their cryings and did their dance. Sleep, wake, hope, and then they said their nevers, they slept their dream. Stars, rain, sun, moon, and only the snow can begin to explain how children are apt to forget to remember with up so floating many bells down. One day, anyone died, I guess, and no one stooped to kiss his face. Busy folk buried them side by side, little by little, and was by was. All by all and deep by deep, and more by more they dreamed their sleep. No one and anyone, earth by April, with by spirit, and if by yes. Women and men, both dong and ding, summer, autumn, winter, spring, reaped their sowing and went their came, sun, moon, stars, rain. So is this a romance or a commentary on social ambivalence? So here we've got our anyone, and anyone is pretty generic. He could be any one of us. And here we have the townspeople who really don't pay him any attention, right? Because no one, while it's a sweet story on one level where no one is a personified woman who is very loving, a very good little wife to him, no one doesn't really exist if no one is no one. So that negative compassion is what the town demonstrates towards this lone individual. So that's pretty consistent with this modernist idea that someone can feel alienated or separate from the crowd, even if they were sort of a part of the whole, part or a part, depending on how you write it, which I think E. Cummings would have also had fun with, being the kind of guy he was, playing with language and space on the page, punctuation and usage of each word. So when he says that they're little and small, perhaps they're both little and small in how they think. Perhaps they're petty, as people like to say these days. He has a lot of things going on with paradox and irony. They sowed their isn't, they reap their same. So over and over, they're doing the same old thing every day. And it's just pretty musical. This reference to the bells, if you've ever read Edgar Allan Poe's The Bells, here are the bells, 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 bells. I didn't have any bells, so it's just a pretend chandelier that somebody put in here. But the bells would have been like maybe the steeple bells in an old town, so you would know when someone died or someone was getting married because the bells would chime. So pretty important, or of course just the telling of the hour. So a really interesting poem, and it should probably make us think of how we treat other people, or how we actually see the people around us. Or are we demonstrating compassion actively, or are we just ignoring people and bury them quickly and moving on with the things we have to do, which I think we're all guilty of being too busy sometimes. But he references nature a good bit in the passage of time with the references to the seasons, and the elements, sun, moon, stars, rain, winter, autumn, spring, summer, that sort of thing. And he plays around with the order. But no matter what, time passes and no one loves anyone. So let's think about that. I hope to see you soon. Thanks.